Hello everybody, Twins of Destruction back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Origins and all of the people that are most likely going to be in it, or at least talked about, because there are more than one names that are shared between people like Cleopatra and Ptolemy. So I thought I'd clear up some of the air by explaining who is who and who does what and certain dates. Alright, so first off, we're going to start by explaining Cleopatra's heritage. Her father was Ptolemy XII of Eleutes, and her mother was Cleopatra V. And they both had 3 children, Ptolemy the 13th, Ptolemy the 14th, and Cleopatra the 7th. As you can see there, Ptolemy the 14th, he was born in 62 BC and ruled from 51 to 47 BC, and had died in 47 BC, making him 15 years old. His actions had actually led to a civil war, and he was actually kicked out. He actually kicked out Cleopatra, as it says on the side, in 49 BC, but I'll get to that in Cleopatra's part. So his younger brother, Ptolemy the 14th, was born in 61 BC and ruled from his brother's death, 47, to 44 BC, till he died in 44 BC at 17 years old. And it's actually rumored that Cleopatra killed him, but that's beside the point. So to Cleopatra, she's pretty much been ruling the entire time, but she almost had no power because her brothers were kind of forceful in their ruling. And like I said earlier, she was kicked out in 49 BC, so she went and got help from the Romans, more specifically Caesar in 47 BC. So they came back, and that's whenever Caesar invaded Alexandria. Now you can see in this picture here that these members that are guarding the pharaoh are Medjay, and they look like drawings of Medjay, which I have here, so you can compare the two. But this is actually what Bayek is in the game. He is one of the last Medjay, and it is just an order that is actually dying out and being replaced by another group of, basically police officers, because that's what basically the Medjay were. And like I just said previously, times are changing, so Bayek is being replaced, so he needs to adapt, and that's whatever I said before about him creating a new breed of assassins. That also influences him to adapt and change his ways of thinking and just how society looks at him and just the way he reacts. So there is a video that I'm playing on repeat here of Cleopatra, what looks to be pushing a scorpion out of the way and putting in place Caesar, because it looks like she's almost doing battle plans for Caesar to take over. And this could be just, something to look over, or it could be a reference to the goddess Serket, which is the scorpion goddess of protection against poison. So by her pushing it out of the way, it could be a reference to her not really looking to the gods so much anymore for protection, more or less looking to Caesar and other outside forces. Again, this goes back to Bayek being old school, and Egypt is becoming new school. People aren't looking to the gods so much anymore. People are changing, and just times in general are changing. Ptolemy the 13th actually had help from a Roman named what I pronounce as Pompey, and he actually fought another Roman that Caesar and Cleopatra, and Pompey had advisors, much like all the other pharaohs had, and they wore these masks here, which is the mask of Amun-Ra, portrayed in Assassin's Creed Origins cinematic trailer. Then, as you can see here in the scene that continues right from the last, there are Roman soldiers, which kind of makes sense because, like I said, Pompey was a Roman, so he gave some of his Roman soldiers to Ptolemy, and in this historical picture here, you can see that the Romans, these are indeed Romans because their helmets and armor look the same. So you get a sense of internal conflict because it's Romans versus Romans, it's Pompey versus Caesar, and then Egyptians versus Egyptians, which is Ptolemy versus Cleopatra. Because Cleopatra was married to quite a lot of people, it actually could get confusing when discussing names, so I made this chart. She actually was married to both of her brothers, Ptolemy the 14th and 13th, but she actually bore no children, so I just put that there. And Julius Caesar, she had one child, Ptolemy the 15th Caesarion. He was born in 47 BC and died in 30 BC. He was 17 years old, and it is rumored that the Romans killed him after Cleopatra committed suicide. Mark Antony, who was her later lover after Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, had bore a child with her, and Mark Antony actually had two children, twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene II. Alexander was born on 40 BC and died in 27 BC, and obviously Cleopatra was also born in 40 BC and died 6 BC. Here are the deaths of the important people. So Ptolemy the 14th was poisoned in 44 BC. Ptolemy the 13th was drowned by himself in the Nile River in 47 BC, because whenever Caesar came, he defeated him, so he was trying to escape and he drowned. Julius Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Mark Antony was was supposedly committed suicide in 30 BC along with Cleopatra in 30 BC. Now I'm going to explain people that could be in Origins, maybe a DLC, and just people in general that haven't been mentioned in the Assassin's Creed games. There's Brutus, who had 40 other assassins organized together to kill Caesar. Mark Antony then actually gave amnesty to the assassins that killed Caesar. And Amunet, who was an Egyptian assassin who killed Cleopatra VII in 30 BC. And I'm assuming killed Mark Antony as well. I'm explaining these people because, like I said, they are important in the history of these characters, because all these characters, except for Mark Antony and Amunet, were in the trailer because Caesar was in the trailer and Brutus was like his main friend in the Senate and whatever you call it, and he was an assassin, like I said. So if it goes far enough to see or even hear about the assassination of Caesar, I don't know if Brutus will be in the game or even mentioned, but like I said, he was killed in 44 BC, and the game actually takes place in 49 BC, so it's only 5 years away, and Amunet actually, like I said, kills Cleopatra in 30 BC, and because the game takes place in 49, it's only 19 years away. So I don't know if it's going to be like old man Bayek, and he's going to be teaching a new breed, because it's because how he creates the assassins is different than the assassins were before, because people like Darius, who killed Xerxes I with the first hidden blade, of course he was a member of the assassin order, but they weren't as formal, so Bayek has to create a new breed of assassins, and I don't know if my theory is that Amunet might be a part of the new breed, and just as the new age becomes popular, because the line of pharaohs is ending, Cleopatra is killed, and the Romans are just extending and taking more control, and modernity's starting to take place. The assassins have to change, so Amunet might be the new breed that actually changes the whole thing from Bayek's teachings. So I just wanted to make this video to explain who people are, when they were born, certain dates, certain death dates, and just things that happened, and just things that we could see in Assassin's Creed Origins, because Egypt has a huge history with a ton of names, and with a bunch of Roman numerals, it could get really confusing. So if you ever get confused again, you could just look back at the video. I have the chart, the brothers, the sisters, mother, father, who married when, and just in general. So, because like I said, it could get confusing, and just with the Medjay and why they're not around anymore, and who Pompey is, and Ptolemy, and the 13th and the 14th, and things like that. So I really appreciate you guys watching. If you have anything to say in the comments, anything to add, I would highly appreciate your feedback. So I appreciate your watching, and I will see you in the next video.